Hello everyone, and welcome to a lovely Tuesday. No, today is Wednesday. Welcome to a lovely Wednesday afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it happens to be for you in your part of the world. My name is ELH, your illustrious game master, black hole enthusiast, and mind flayer. And if you haven't already guessed what we're doing today, it's more Vampire Therapist. I think if I remember what I read correctly on the forums, we're a little bit closer to halfway. We're not quite over the halfway point, but we are getting there. But good news for anybody who likes Meddy or anybody who likes Dr. Drain and not Mr. Hyde. There should be some good content in today's session for you all. But YouTube, pause for 1 second as I say hello to Twitch chat, and I'll see you in a moment, YouTube. Alright, YouTube, welcome back. We have just literally loaded into the game. Nothing else has happened. And today we are probably going to see Meddy first, because she is the ancient one that Andy is referencing here. So they're already going to ask us what Meddy's primary distortion is. So let's see if we can get ahead of the game and see if we can figure out what Meddy's is. Let's see. Meddy is feeling overwhelmed by her followers on social media and their demands. She relies on them for food and help dealing with mortals. Talks about mortals as if we're all the same. That's overgeneralization. Spends a lot of time online. Creates strong one-way attachment with her followers. Needs to get outside. Bad at boundaries. So labeling and overgeneralization is probably what Meddy is going to end up being here.
Ancient one. She's 1,200 years younger than you, Andy.
I suppose I was engaging in a bit of labeling myself. You are, of course, correct. Still, her age presents a unique challenge.
Is this about the game? Or listen, you know, Meddy just needs to get outside. Everybody could go outside just a little bit.
After one lives for 1,000 years, history seems less a line than a fixed point. Speaking of which, I imagine you can guess what distortion an old one such as Meddy might fixate upon.
Yep, it's overgeneralization.
It's gotta be overgeneralization. She really is basing all her opinions on her experiences when she was alive.
Very good, Samuel. I heard tales of her island in my time, but they were never peaceful tales. I am not surprised she finds safety in her narrative. What other distortions do you think Meddy might exhibit?
It's a good question. Well, she probably has, should has cropped up everywhere, so let's get a should. Let's get a nos thinking, because that happens a lot as well. What else can we do here? Overgeneralization is a sort of specific labeling, but do we actually want to bring labeling? Let's take control fallacy. And do we want disqualifying the positive or labeling? She does appear to be prone to emotional reasoning. You do bring up an excellent point, Alex. You know what? Let's take emotional reasoning. Let's just see what happens.
Good to go, boss.
Then I will leave you to it. Good luck, my friend.
Also, we're not going to do a channel point prediction for this, but I'm going to guess that Meddy gets right into it. She's either going to be very happy or she's going to be very mad with us for making her go outside. So we'll see how long it takes Meddy to make a sentence.
Hello again, strange cowboy man.
Hi, Meddy. Bark, bark. Bark, bark. Wait, no, I'm a mouse. Squeak, squeak. Squeak, squeak.
It's good to see you again, Meddy. How's the past month been for you?
We went for a walk, just like you suggested. Didn't like it very much.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. What was so unpleasant about it?
It's very loud outside, and dirty, and smelly. Everywhere I walked, it smelled like mortal food. Just disgusting.
Give me 1 second. I have to actually raise... Actually, I already am at max. Okay, so she's just being very quiet.
They knew how good it felt to drink blood. Maybe they would not eat so much of this pizza food.
Okay, hold on, Meddy. Meddy, it's pizza. Everybody loves pizza. What's wrong with pizza?
There's so many cars, too. I don't like cars. They have hateful faces. They look so angry all the time.
Interesting.
Stepped in a week, killed 7 men, and got splashed by a bus. It's really quite awful.
You killed 7 men? How the heck did that happen?
Meddy, did you cause a car crash?
Oh, that. It's inconvenient, you know. Normally I have my zealots do that kind of thing for me. They take care of the bodies. I had to do all that silly work myself, and now there are always police sirens going off, which interrupts my streams and makes my followers very sad.
Why did that all happen?
Yeah, how... What did you do, Meddy?
Because they found the bodies everywhere, silly. I don't know what to do with my rubbish.
I meant why the killing. You didn't happen to make a few assumptions based on past experiences? Why kill a bunch of men?
Oh, well, they looked at me. I know what mortals who look at me are like. If I let them live, they'd probably try to burn me as a witch. I could do nothing but kill them.
That seems like overgeneralization. Yeah, that seems like overgeneralization.
Hold on a sec. You know what mortals who look at you are like. How do you know? Are you reading their minds?
I don't have to read their minds, sweetling. I have known manlings for a very long time.
I get what you're saying, but here in this room at least, we gotta be honest with ourselves. Do you really know what they were thinking?
Silly mouseling. I do not need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is.
Don't need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is. I would actually disagree with that. I mean, the whole reason we have dogs today is because someone looked at a wolf and thought, how do I get this wolf to like me? So I don't really agree with that, Meddy.
Does that mean every wolf you see is gonna try to eat you?
We don't have wolves anymore. They're all gone now.
Maybe in your part of the world, Meddy.
So maybe you can see where that kind of thinking can be a problem. It was scared people who killed all them wolves, right? Now I know that thinking doesn't come from nowhere. Old as you are, I'm sure you've seen some real awful stuff.
That's right. Haven't killed you, though. You are kind, little mouse.
Or a wolf looked at a human and said, how do I get this thing to share its food? Also a valid point, Caspian.
Well, let's lay off the mouse stuff a little.
I'm sorry. I don't wish for you to scurry away into a little hole. Do you want to hear why I feel the way I do?
I would appreciate it greatly, miss.
Let me tell you about men from my time, then. Let's start with me, Da.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Well, I mean, I had a feeling she had daddy issues, but here we go.
My father sold me and my mother to a chief of a rival clan for a golden necklace.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot to unpack.
That is just horrifying.
Oh, don't fuss, sweetling. It was the most beautiful golden necklace. At least 2 girls' worth. Father got quite a deal, really.
You're using humor, but I'm sure that must have been heartbreaking for you.
It was common at the time. I suppose I should have been glad to be the possession of an old chief.
That is a should statement.
Whose should is that, Meddy?
Why, everyone thought that. They were ever so surprised when I ran away. I did wish I could feel the way they felt, but I simply could not.
I think most of us vampires had it rough as kids. Maybe most kids have it rough. I don't know.
I think every kid has a rough patch in some way, shape, or form. It's just how you internalize and deal with that rough patch that really defines a person, at least in my experience.
But the one thing I do know is that kids don't come with the same shoulds their parents have got. I think we're learning all them shoulds ended up being a load of horse shit anyway.
I knew girls who did as they were told. They would have been thrilled to have been the concubine of a powerful chief. But, oh, he was so old. Cormac O'Neill, the oldest man I'd ever seen. I remember thinking, where is his face? Because I could not see it under all his disgusting wrinkles.
Ah.
How old was the guy?
Probably like 30 or 40, because that was very old back then.
38.
Right on the money.
That was pretty old in your time, huh? Wish I'd died at 38. Could have been a better looking corpse.
Well, he left an awful looking corpse. His face was all...
I'm guessing you had something to do with that, huh?
Yeah, she killed him.
Not me. My boyfriend, Abertach. Told me he'd set me free. Suppose he did.
Okay, so you had your boyfriend do it. Alright.
He created a delightful poison for me. He said it would make my dear master die in excruciating pain. So, one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died.
Okay, so the fact that we have to point out a distortion here is interesting. So let's read this through very carefully here. So you laid with him, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't. I think that's the key the key statement here. Abby did what I couldn't. Which sounds like a control fallacy. Yeah, let's try control fallacy.
You're saying your boyfriend killed your husband, but it sounds to me like you did the real work. He mixed up some herbs, sure, but you were the one that had to sleep with the old man and get the poison in him.
Abby made sure I knew it was because of him that I was free. He said it could never have happened without him.
He didn't have to be brave to mix up a potion. I think the bravery was all you, Meddy. Don't disqualify the idea that the person who set you free was you.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, strange cowboy man. I did do all the work. But Abby never let me forget that he was the one who freed me. He wanted me to worship him.
That's some boyfriend. You went from an old guy to a megalomaniac.
A fella who demands to be worshipped is always going to be a dangerous man.
Dangerous men have always been drawn to me. Must be something about the way I am.
Well, at least you're recognizing him, Meddy.
So what happened after you killed Cormac?
The Neil clan came after me and Abby. They found him, took their swords and went, stab! Stab! Stabby, stabby! Stab, stab, stab! But Abby just laughed. That's how I found out he was undead already. Gave me the willies. When they couldn't kill Abby, they decided to kill me instead. And that made him very upset indeed, because I belonged to him.
Okay, that's interesting that she's internalizing that. Okay.
That must have been terrifying.
I suppose. Mostly hurt. Lots and lots. Getting stabbed is much fun when you're immortal.
So apparently getting stabbed when you're immortal is fun?
I ain't too fond of it as a vampire neither.
Abby fed me his blood though, and then I became like him. When I woke up, the Neo clan who tried to kill us were all properly dead. Well, almost dead. They still had a lot of blood left, and I was hungry. Neo clan was ever so cross though. They captured Abby and sealed him in a tomb with some forgotten spells. He's still there as far as I know.
What happened to you?
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
So it's not overgeneralization, it's not should. I think this is an example of NOS thinking. Because this is black and white, and it's not control. Don't think it's emotional reasoning. Yeah, let's try nos thinking.
That kind of all or nothing thinking could get us in trouble. If we think all is lost, we're liable to do things we wouldn't normally do. I know I did some stuff I regretted in them moments, and I sure wish I'd taken a breath and stepped back in all them times.
You sound so sad when you say that, funny cowboy man.
I'm all right. I'm just saying, you're a capable lady. You've always got more options than you think in a bad moment.
Oh, but you're just a child. I don't want you to be sad.
Okay.
Well, let's focus on you, huh? You say you've been living alone ever since then?
Of course, my silly cowboy man. We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
We will always end up alone is the thing here. So, I don't think it's nos thinking again. I don't think it's control fallacy. It's not should. So is it emotional reasoning or overgeneralization? Let me think. Let me look at emotional reasoning real quick. Let me pull out the big old book here. Emotional reasoning. Feelings alone don't define the world. We project our feelings. Yeah, this could, or here we go. Then we assume future experiences will always be the same. Okay, so this is overgeneralization. It's
Again,
not.
Meddy deals in extremes. Long life often makes one's interpretation of life stark.
Of course, my silly cowboy man.
It's not
We aren't mortal
overgeneralization.
anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
Is it then emotional reasoning? But we just did nos thinking. We've never had nos thinking back to back is what's tripping me up here. Is we've never had nos back to back. I mean, we'll try it. We'll do nos and then we'll do emotional reasoning. But this will be a first if it's nos again.
Come on, Meddy.
It is
You're
nos
distorting
again.
a lot of reality there. All vampires ain't lonely. Some of us choose to be, but not all of us.
Okay, so that is interesting, and that actually changes a lot, because again, up until this point, no distortion had been the same back to back. Yeah, and I think that's what was tripping me up as I was seeing the pattern. I was like, there's no way it's back to back again. So we've learned a very important lesson, that it now can be the same distortion back to back. Okay.
Sure, mortals have a habit of dying, but there will always be more of them. Not to mention all the vampires out there. Heck, I used to be in a vampire gang. Cult. Well, kind of both. They weren't good company, but they certainly weren't lonely. I mean, ain't we talking? Well, there's loads of vampires out there who think like you do, and they're fulfilling their own prophecies of loneliness.
You're being a mean little mouse now, and I don't like it very much. Maybe I should have killed you after all.
Why would you kill a little mouse? I'm just a little mouse. Squeak, squeak.
I'm trying to help you, Meddy. The world's changed a lot in the last 1,800 years. A lot of it bad, but a lot of it good too. By and large, most people ain't burning witches and selling their daughters. That sort of thing's frowned upon by mortals these days.
I think frowned upon is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. I think I would use a much stronger word, but sure, Sam, sure.
There are laws out there to protect folks now. It ain't like in old times.
May I tell you a story, little mouse?
Sure.
All right, tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a very pretty young lady. Pretty, but also crazy. Like me. The pretty young lady Mary had moved in with her cousin, Mrs. Haltridge. At first, they got along quite well. But one day, Mary started acting naughty. She would shout, act unladylike, and even say that Jesus Christ wasn't very special. Mrs. Haltridge liked Jesus Christ very much and wanted Mary to like him too. When she didn't, this embarrassed Mrs. Haltridge. She began to think something was wrong with Mary. After all, who didn't like Jesus Christ? Mrs. Haltridge said that Mary had begun to vomit up pins and buttons, nails, glass, and bits of wool. Instead of being grateful for the free gifts Mary was vomiting up, Mrs. Haltridge said that she had been attacked by 8 witches in spectral form.
Okay, I just gotta take a moment here to process this. So, you know, Mary's vomiting all this stuff up, and Haltridge is like, oh, this is the work of a witch. Not just one witch, 8 witches. Where is the story going, Meddy?
Now, just so happened that all 8 of those witches lived very close to the town where Mrs. Haltridge lived. Despite their magical prowess, the 8 witches were captured and put into the stocks, and all the people of the town were told that the women did not like Jesus Christ at all. So the Jesus Christ-liking people threw rotten vegetables and poo at the witches, and, just for fun, they gouged out the eye of one of them. Then they kicked the witches out of town and lived happily ever after. The end.
But, Meddy, what was the point of this?
Well, that ain't a pleasant story.
Oh, it was very unpleasant. It hurts very much to have your eye taken away, but I like my new eye. It's fun.
Oh, that explains why she has heterochromia, because that's a false eye. Well, I wasn't expecting that. That is a thing.
I was 1500 summers old or so when that happened. The world hadn't changed much then. I don't think it's changed much now.
So she was, if I understood that story correctly, she was there with the Salem witch trials or similar movements in the world.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Meddy. You're right. Folk can be pretty awful when they get riled up. That ain't changed.
Oh, don't be sorry, little mouse. I like my new eye. Also, the story has a happy ending.
It has a happy ending? Did you kill them all?
Oh yeah? What's that?
After I had my eye taken away, I took Mrs. Haltridge's parts away too, one by one until she died. It was so much fun.
Yup, yeah, saw that coming.
That's a little morbid, Meddy.
A little morbid, Sam? I think more than a little.
Morbid Meddy? Oh, I like that. It's very clever, little mouse. But you see why I'm careful now?
Also, Instigator, hello, welcome on in. Morbid Meddy. She's gonna start calling herself that now.
Yeah, I get it. But look, there's one thing that's different now, and that's...
The UN exists. I don't think that helps anything, Sam. Liberal democracy has solved everything. It hasn't. So what we're doing right now, I think, is the correct answer. I kind of want to click on these other ones because it's funny. You know what? I'm going to save and I'm going to click on these other ones. Hold on. I want to know what this is about. Alright, we're going to start with the UN exists because it has no relevance to this, and I'm just curious what Meddy has to say about it.
We got the United Nations now. They make sure the world's got a code to follow.
The United Nations has barely existed. As far as I know, it hasn't done much. Some countries are much stronger than others.
So this is a visual novel, Instigator. It's very similar to a Choose Your Own Adventure, but it is a vampire and therapy themed visual novel. It's on Steam, and it's been quite a lot of fun so far. There's a lot of interesting sentences in the game, and Meddy is she is a very, very old vampire, one of our clients, and she streams and has an Only Zealots page, so you know.
Well, yeah, but there's good intent and such.
You're not giving me much to be excited about, little mouse.
Oh, hey, we actually got an achievement for clicking that. True Believer had faith in modern political systems. So that actually was an achievement to click on the UN. Alright, well. Got the achievement, so I guess we just go for the correct answer.
It's what we're doing right now. In all that time up till now, therapy ain't never existed. We only just started looking at ourselves in the way we think.
Also, sure, Luffy, hello, hello.
Before recent times, we only looked at gods, government, and society. The self is a new frontier, and we're learning stuff we never considered before. The frontier can be kind of scary, but being on that frontier means moving forward. Come with me.
Silly mouse. If something feels scary, that means that there must be something to be scared of.
Okay, so this is not a should. This is not a control. I think this is emotional reasoning. I think. Let me consult the handy dandy notebook. Feelings alone don't define the world. Yeah, this is emotional reasoning. And if it's not emotional reasoning, we're in trouble.
Now hold your horses there. Yeah, it might be true that sensing something scary means there's actually something scary out there. But that don't make it necessarily so. If fear keeps us from exploring, we can't experience new things, good or bad.
I suppose that's true. But good things are temporary. Bad things can last forever.
And that is actually something that is a major thing in therapy, at least in my experience. Yeah, Instigator, Sam is the therapist. Sam is our cowboy vampire. He is our therapist. But at least in my experience with therapy, you know, I have had similar sentiments of this, where I'm like, hey, you know, this in my past is never going to go away. I'm always going to be internalizing it forever and ever. So Meddy is already talking about some of the things I've talked about before. I'm curious to see how Sam is going to say, very similar to what Alex is trying to say, in that bad things don't have to last forever. They're not set in stone as much as they feel like they're set in stone. So let's see how Sam handles this.
Would you like to hold my eye?
No, Meddy, I don't want to hold your eye.
Oh, that's all right. You keep it. I get what you're saying, Meddy. I ain't saying not to be careful. Just acknowledge that a feeling doesn't make reality. I know you've been through a lot and you got damn good reasons for being careful. But there's a reason you came to me, right?
Yes, but it wasn't because I wanted to go outside. It's because of my fans. They're very demanding.
Big Damn, hello, welcome on in.
Right. That's why we were talking about your going for walks and went down this rabbit hole.
Or, in your case, a mouse hole.
Anyway, therapy usually ain't about just one thing. It's about lots of things. If the problem is your fans, we gotta imagine unlife without them, right?
Yeah, but that's her entire image, Sam. Without her fans, Meddy is very lonely and very sad.
Don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle. They're too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
So I think the key word here is I don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle. This feels like overgeneralization. So let's try overgeneralization here.
You really think weak people would hurt others if they were stronger?
Yeah, it depends on the weak person, but I mean, that is very common thinking. It's very, you know, realist or very fatalistic is the word I think I want. Yeah, it's very fatalistic. Also, Mukis, hello.
Little mouse, I've been alive for a long time. I believe what my eye shows me. Yes, if one is capable of hurting another, they do.
They can, but they don't always. You ever seen them capybara animals?
A capybara. Okay, we're bringing up capybara. All right.
They're dang massive rodents and could do some damage if they wanted to, I reckon.
Oh, yes! Oh, they're very cute. People like to share animated pictures of them in my community.
Some folk are like that. They just want to sit around and have someone scratch their bellies.
Sam, you realize what you've just said to the person who thinks that you're a cute little mouse, right? You realize what you've said.
Is that what you want, little mouse? Do you want me to scratch your belly?
I warned you, Sam. We all knew this was coming. You walked right into this.
What? No, I'm just saying, don't assume everyone's out to hurt someone. Yeah, it happens. Of course it does. But that kind of thinking ain't giving folks their fair shot.
Don't know what I'll do if I don't have my followers. I can't live the way I used to before the machines took over. Oh, they expect so much of me now. They send me messages all night and all day. They need content.
Ah, yes. The plight of the content creator. Tell me more. I need more information. I need more content to talk to and consume. Give me content, content, content. And yeah, Alex, it's one of those things where this is a very popular thing in philosophy where, you know, people are capable of harm and capable of violence and choosing the high road anyway. And it's also actually, again, to bring Star Trek into this, that's kind of the whole theme of Star Trek, is that humanity used to be as it was now, and they not quite elevated themselves, but they became better people where they chose to be more, I think the word is enlightened that I would want to use. So there's definitely a lot of philosophy around this issue. But at least in terms of Meddy, I think Meddy is, she needs to set a boundary with her fans, is where her main problem is that she's letting too much of the fans define her. Because she's staying up all night and all day getting these messages. She's driven by the need to give them content. This is actually, I think the easiest way to put it is she is burned out, is what this is. She's burned out and she doesn't know how to tell her fans that she needs a break.
God, if we don't give them their content, they'll all leave. Their attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
Okay, so I think this is, this could be NOS, this could be control, this could maybe be overgeneralization. So I think I'm leaning towards NOS because this is black and white thinking. The only reason I think it's, it's fear? I mean, you raise an excellent point, Alex. It is a fear response here. Give me 1 second. I gotta look at emotional reasoning again. Hold on. But no matter how unhappy we are, feelings alone don't define the world. Ain't everything emotional reasoning? He said no. Emotional reasoning specifically when we project our feelings onto the world. The world can feel like garbage when I feel like garbage, but that don't make it reality. Alright, here's what we'll do. We'll try emotional reasoning, then NOS, then overgeneralization. So let's try emotional first.
Meddy has millions of followers, yet she expects the same of all of them. This does not compute, as I hear the children of the sun say.
She expects all of them, so
I don't give them their
let's
content,
try
they'll all leave.
overgeneralization then.
Attention spans.
Okay, I think we need to talk about moderation.
Yep, we need to talk about moderation here, Meddy. You need to set boundaries.
Oh, I already have moderators, silly mouse. Any major content creator has to have them.
Oh, and welcome, Slacker. Welcome on in. See, I don't know that Meddy can create shadow clones of herself. I mean, Andy probably can. I don't know if Meddy can.
I don't know what that stuff means. I'm talking about moderation in your thinking. What if you gave your fans only what you felt comfortable giving?
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
So this is maybe control fallacy because it doesn't matter what I want, because it's not should. I think this, like, the more I think about it, I think this could be control fallacy. I don't think it's Nos thinking. And the reason I don't think it's Nos thinking is it's not very black and white. Let's try control fallacy. And if it's not control fallacy, we've got a thinker. It's not
Again,
control
Meddy
fallacy.
seems to view her followers as cattle. Are all mortals so docile?
So is this overgeneralization again?
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Yeah, Slacker, you came in at an interesting time. Her pink eye is actually a false one that she can pull out. You know, she told a whole story about how she lost that right eye of hers. And, yeah, that eye is a fake one. Or not so fake. It's got vampire magic. Yeah, I think this is another overgeneralization then.
Meddy, you're thinking that mortals want only one type of content is forcing you to make only one type of content. Your assumptions are keeping you from doing things you like, and you deserve to do things you actually enjoy.
You're very kind. I thought cowboys were supposed to be tough.
I mean, Sam is pretty tough. I mean, we literally pulled a gun on a patient. How is that not tough? Well, I guess we haven't told you that, Meddy. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, Sam has pulled a gun on one of his clients. And that was we're probably actually going to get to that very same client today. We'll see what happens.
Who says I ain't? I just don't have nothing to prove no more. Here, why don't we try something new for next time, since going out didn't go so well last time. I want to challenge you to take a day off. Don't answer any messages, don't post no content. Just do something for you and you alone. Take a sick day.
That's going to be very rough for Meddy.
But we never get sick. We're dead people.
And yeah, Alex, I think it's part 4. I think it's either the 3rd or the 4th video I put up. But yeah, Sam pulled a gun. He was very quick draw on that gun, and for good reason. I'm not going to spoil it, but there was a very good reason why that gun got pulled. That's probably the thing I wouldn't share with every other client that walked in my door were I a practicing therapist. Fair point, Slacker. Fair point.
They don't know that, do they? One day. That's all I'm asking for. You need to give yourself a little space.
Very well. Since you've been a very kind mouse, I'll do it for you.
I'd prefer it if you did it for you, but we'll work toward that, huh?
Oh, I wish I had a big piece of cheese to give to you right now.
A lactose intolerance is kind of a side effect of death, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'll see you in a month then, okay?
Yes.
Great. I'll see you then.
Bye.
You are doing well, my friend. I know we old ones can be rather inscrutable sometimes.
She's human. We all are, ain't we? The way I see it, we all got the same problems one way or another.
Your wisdom never fails to impress, Samuel. I believe it is time for you to follow your own advice to Miss Meddy, however. All work and no play makes for a dull vampire, as they say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I might hit the hay early and do a bit of reading.
If you must take out some aggression on hay, then please do so. I shall see you soon, my friend. Rest in peace.
I see what you did there, Andy, and I'm not gonna justify that with a comment.
Good night, Andy. Dang, I wonder how I'll feel about humanity when I'm 1800. Heck, I wonder whether there'll even be a planet.
I mean, I would hope that there would be a planet 1800 years from now, but, you know, maybe that's wishful thinking. Who knows?
I guess it's time to drown my existential woes in blood. Howdy there, Crimson.
Hi, Crimson. Perk, perk.
You're sounding a little weary there, cowboy. You getting enough to drink these nights?
Probably not.
Oh, yeah, that ain't it. Just existential ponderings.
That's just my specialty. What's eating you, buckaroo?
We all have some aggression in us, and there are ways to get it out constructively. Yes, yes, that's actually what I have been in therapy for the longest time, is getting out that aggression in a healthy way. And I've come a very long way, and I still have a long way to go, but you just have to as good as this game is about presenting therapy concepts and teaching you about cognitive behavioral therapy, there is no true end. Like, you will always be working, you will always be improving yourself. It's just you have to find an outlet for the aggression. So Mukis, that is something that we don't necessarily know for sure. We've seen instances where, for this club, for example, the goths that come here know that vampires come here to suck blood. You know, other members of the club, you know, give their blood freely because they know they're feeding a vampire. But I don't think vampires are well known to the general public. I think there's subsets of people that know about vampires, but I think the masquerade is largely in place.
It's this old client I got. She's been watching humanity hurting itself for 1,800 years. Every time she expected better, she got hurt. She ain't wrong to mistrust mortals.
That's a tough one. What do you do with someone like that?
Well, I tried to guide her to look inward like I do with everyone. People are people, but so is she.
How do you think she took it?
I think she took it pretty well. The fact that she was going to take a day off, I think she took it pretty well.
I think she appreciated the focus on her. I can't answer for all humanity, but maybe she can get answers from herself.
I think you could stand to listen to yourself, Ranchero. You could have been a mean old Dracula, and nobody would expect anything different from you. Reckon there have always been people like you, no matter how bad it's been in history.
Dang, Crimson. I can see why Andy respects you so much. You done some living, sounds like.
Death at the door can put things into perspective. I get where your client is coming from. Changing the world isn't going to happen, but we can at least change ourselves.
So that right there, it's not, you know, a funny statement, but that is a very, very powerful sentence. Where once you realize that you have limited control over what you can change in the world, and you realize that the change has to come from yourself, this is something that it took me years to understand. And I'm still, again, it's a journey. I'm still working on myself. I'm still working on, you know, what it is that makes me me. And to recognize and internalize this is sometimes hard. But once you internalize this, you can begin walking the path a different way, if that makes any sense.
I don't think that's true. The country I left definitely ain't the country I was born in.
The wheels turn a little slowly for us mortals, cowboy. Back in D.C., I was trying to push policy to do something about our poverty problem, but the kind gentlemen across the street were pretty happy to make things worse. When I got my cancer diagnosis, that was my wake-up call to stop getting disappointed and start living with the little amount of time I had left.
See, I also feel that it's cyclic. We change ourselves, and eventually the world can change, even if it's way beyond our lifetime. Yeah, it's one of those things where if enough people self-reflect and change, then the world around them changes. And yeah, Alex, that's another good statement. Wise men plant trees in shades they won't sit. You know, something along those lines. It's definitely something where if you're living for the future rather than living necessarily in the past, or even just living for the present, you know, some people, I mean, this entire game, you know, all of our clients so far have been trapped in the past in some way, shape, or form. So the key is to get them to look forward rather than backwards.
Working at a bar is more rewarding than being a member of the bar, huh?
Not bad, cowboy. It's got its charms. Here, I whipped up something special for you.
That ain't half bad. Got a refreshing taste.
Rose hips. Just a little something extra. Been experimenting with some herbals for Andy.
Guess old dogs like us can still learn new tricks. Thanks, Crimson. I think I'll hit the hay now.
You hit that hay, Desperado. I'll see you later.
Got a lot on my mind tonight. I think I need some rest. Now, what should I do to relax?
I think we're going to break out the Emerson. Though, Watch a man get his butt burned with a hot iron. I mean, I thought we were calming down, Sam, not watching someone get burned with the hot iron. I think as someone with kids, I have mad respect for those that don't and will not try to change the world for better any way they can. I know I kind of want to see it, but I also don't know what's going to be toss. I think we're going to have to go with, I mean, it on another playthrough that's not streamed, I might check this out, but I don't know. This game, it's been tame so far, but this might be tossed. So unfortunately, we can't click this. We can't click this. I want to, but we can't. So we're going to reflect on the day with Emerson.
I always pick up a little extra perspective from Ralphie Waldo. Emerson, that is. Let's see if I can find a good passage. Bingo.
Oh, here we go. What is our Emerson quote for the day?
In the woods is perpetual youth. Within these plantations of God, a decorum and sanctity reign. A perennial festival is dressed, and the guest sees not how he should tire of them in 1,000 years. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me. No disgrace, no calamity, leaving me my eyes, which nature cannot repair. In the wilderness I find something more dear and connate than in streets or villages. In the tranquil landscape, and especially in the distant line of the horizon, man beholds somewhat as beautiful as his own nature.
So, basically, if I understand what this passage is saying, that there's beauty in nature, and there's beauty within our inner nature.
Ain't that the truth? Future's always ahead, no matter how old we get.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
Yeah, and up next is going to be therapy. It's going to be Sam's therapy. We'll see what we learned about Sam here.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight?
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
I understand. Looking in the mirror is difficult for any human, much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
Now, see, Gray Matter, it's interesting that you say that, because I'm pretty sure that the end game is probably going to be treating Andy. Just, I have a feeling here.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love each other very much...
No, Andy, that's not what we meant. That's not what we meant at all, Andy. No.
Come on, boss, that's not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
The answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you. We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to you right now.
Oh, are we doing more of the meditation minigame?
Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
All right, YouTube, welcome back. We were just doing the meditation minigame, and as per usual, the meditation minigame needs some work, but I believe the devs are very much aware of the fact that it does not work as intended. So hopefully there's a fix, but for now, I just saved you about 3 or 4 minutes of me floundering and doing nothing. Anyway, let's continue.
Pretty good. I gotta say, my head's been a mess of thoughts lately. I think I was afraid of therapy today.
Why is that, my friend? What thoughts came up?
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
They preyed on the vulnerable, as cults tend to do. If you had been a man of means with a robust support system, I doubt they would have noticed you.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry state to begin with.
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, it's a lot that Sam went through to get to that point.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit.
Now that seems like a thing, but we don't have that as an option here, Sam.
All that law-breaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no good, that was my country failing me.
Let us slow down, Samuel. You are making a bit of a logical leap. I have great admiration and empathy for you, my friend, but it is disrespectful to those you hurt to blame anyone but yourself.
I mean, I guess I could have died. Suppose that would have been kinder, but that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died, and I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming. When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
Yep, I tend to do this quite a bit.
Our faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Senora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
I don't know, Andy, but that's not blaming.
I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
So that's blaming. This is blaming. But Andy, you are 3,000 years old. You've slept with Roman emperors. And Crimson isn't doing it for you? I mean, if you don't want Crimson anymore, I'll take Crimson. Bark, bark. So this is blaming.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two. Man, I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
Okay, didn't need to know that, but thank you for sharing.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
Singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're... I mean, I'll forget I said anything.
Good job, Sam. You have voiced my thoughts exactly.
All right, Samuel, let us move on. The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing?
Yeah, and he's definitely admitted to seeing Andy as a father figure there. I don't think this is blaming, is it? Can this be? Let's consult what our notes say about blaming. Instead of everything being about us, we act like it's all about someone else. We don't want to admit we have some control. Blaming a distortion that needs fixing. Oh, then maybe this is blaming.
Come on now, boss. Not every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. Well, that's some blaming right there.
Interesting. I'm going to have to remember that one.
You are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times. By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control-V and Control-C the other night. What a delightful trick.
Hold on, Andy. Hold on. Wait a second. You're 3,000 years old. You've done so many things, but it took you until 2024 to learn copy-paste. It took you that long. I mean, on one hand, I shouldn't be surprised because I've definitely, when I was working in the public sector, I definitely had coworkers who did not know many commands on the keyboard, but yeah. Okay, Andy, we need to work on your technology. In fact, you know what, Andy? You know what? I think I know the precise person to help you with this. You know that goth couple that I keep feeding on? I'm gonna introduce them to you, Andy, and you can feed on the woman while Reinhardt. Actually, no. I suppose you might actually prefer Reinhardt over the woman, whose name I can't remember right now. Maxie. That's her name, Maxie. You know, Maxie can talk to you about SQL queries, and you can feed on Reinhardt. It'll be fun for everybody involved. It'll be fun for everybody involved.
Oh yeah, way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
Oh my god, please no, not going through the edit menu. Please tell me you were at least right-clicking.
You youngsters always find the latest tricks. Let's keep going, though. Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
Now that is another blame it.
And now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes. You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Andy, I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to choose to look past it.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right today.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play? It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
Is that blaming? No, yeah, it's not the sun's fault.
The sun can't help being the sun, so don't go blaming it. The way I see it, we got our place, and that ain't nobody's fault.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it.
There are some blaming distortions you missed in there, my friend. Listen once more. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
Is that blaming? Oh, I guess because you're wondering why the tree was there, like somebody else put the tree there. Oh man, blaming is gonna be hard. Okay.
Blaming someone else or the tree for you being clumsy, that ain't gonna do anyone much good.
Have we heard of the Dark Lord in this world before now? I don't think so. I'm trying to think back. I don't think we've ever discussed like Satan or the Dark Lord or anybody like that. So I'm pretty sure this is the first we're hearing of a Dark Lord.
I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Of course. There is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire. But we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work.
I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny.
Could be a secret character, Gray Matter. Like I said, I think again, Andy is going to be the final patient, but I'm wondering if it is truly going to be like a true route option, which is very common in visual novels, where the best ending is one that is a second playthrough or something like that. We'll just have to keep playing and find out. But it's interesting here that apparently Sam's father was taken away for manifest destiny, but I'm curious why, because as far as I'm aware, manifest destiny didn't involve, you know, slave labor. I guess it kind of did. Alright, let's see where Sam's going with this.
I'm mad at him too. Dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How'd his country pay him back? By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
That must have been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel. And stories such as yours prove it.
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares?
I think the people in Missouri care. I think a lot of people in Missouri would actually care a great deal about that.
I'm telling you, Andy, the best thing about being dead is realizing how little that nationalism crap matters.
Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened after your father died?
Well, we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder.
Yes, they shouldn't have fought us. You're right, Sam. Listen, Tigdam, listen. You know, I know you're across the pond, but come on, man. Do we have to do another Boston Tea Party? Because we will. We'll do it. We'll just take all the tea and just dump it right into the harbor, just because we can.
He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun. And once Jeb started fighting back, dear old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
Oh. Okay. I did not know that, Grey Matter. I've been so far removed from my middle school and high school days that I don't remember a whole lot about Manifest Destiny, so I know that there was the indigenous peoples thing, but I did not know that Spain and England, there were conflicts there. Interesting. But relevant to this, we've learned that Sam has an older brother, and we've learned that Jeb killed the stepdad in order to protect Sam. So we've learned that here.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel. My country asked me to kill at 20, and I still remember how devastating it felt.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten a read on what Andy's nationality is.
Yeah, well, nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen the way people looked at us. They knew we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
A moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
It's them distortions again, huh?
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
That nationalism is neat, actually. I stopped being cute. I mean, I think Signora and Meddy would disagree with this statement. Yeah, the people knew we were in trouble. That is the correct answer here.
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds.
Which I'm sure Andy can do, but we can't.
Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, we can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
Labeling.
First, that's labeling. Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know. With your mind reading, do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
Yeah, you're right. You're damn right.
No one expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself.
And that, again, very important thing that they teach in therapy, at least a good therapist, is that if you cannot be compassionate to yourself, you cannot be compassionate to others. And that sometimes your worst enemy is your own internal thoughts, and you got to change those thoughts to be more compassionate.
Here, let us do an exercise to help you recognize mind reading. Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
I'm sorry, hold on, what? Andy, do you realize what you just said? Andy, you can't just throw a sentence like that out there. I mean, it's mind reading, but
I know that's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
No, that part of the world was never really vampire-friendly. The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
Well, okay, so... Wait a second. You're telling me that the chair that Sam is sitting in is made of... Oh, dear.
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
Made... Okay. I thought that was going to go a completely different direction. I thought that maybe, you know, that it was wood from his cross or something like that. But okay. So if he made it, it's not part... Okay, all right, that's better. That's better than what I was thinking.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair and has experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it.
Great. Thank you for telling us that people have been farting in this chair for over millennia. Thanks, Andy. That makes me feel even better about sitting in this chair.
Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know because she told me so.
That's not mind reading. She told you.
I sent my friend Vlad an internet message, and he left it on read. He must hate me.
Oh, that's mind reading.
That's some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages unread, and only Vlad knows them. Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
Again, I feel like this is a sentence that bears repeating. Don't read too much into an internet message. It cannot communicate tone. It cannot communicate emotion very well. This is a sentence I wish more people understood, including myself. That, you know, if you sit there and try to psychoanalyze a forum post or a Discord message, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to psychoanalyze yourself into a hole, and then it's not going to be what you think it means. And it's not a fun experience to go through. So I think this is a message more people need to hear.
The Pony Express was a lot healthier, I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers.
Okay, hold on, wait a second. I mean, you literally just said that you read his mind, but does this count? I feel like this is a gotcha. Does this count? I gotta click it. I gotta know.
Wait just a sec. That's definitely mind reading. You read the fella's mind, so you knew what he was thinking.
Aha! That was a trick example, Samuel. It is not a cognitive distortion if I know the contents of his mind for sure.
Okay, it was a gotcha, but you know what? I'm glad we clicked it all the same.
However, while it is not a distortion, it is rude to read another's thoughts, so I choose not to do so. It is better for all if private thoughts remain so.
So we've also learned something about Andy. He can read thoughts if he chooses to do so.
You didn't actually read his mind then?
No, but at my age, the signals are obvious. He was having very dirty thoughts indeed. Would you like to hear them?
Maybe when I'm not streaming on Twitch.
Come on, boss.
I can't resist teasing the American a little. I will proceed with more mind-reading statements. I told our bouncer, Bert, a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused.
I mean, you don't know. If he was quiet, how do you know if he was amused?
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking.
Well, except Bert.
I like to think he dreams of butterflies. But who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind-reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind-reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of all this. Knowing what's real and what's not.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
Well, if I had to guess, I think Sam either had to sit there and watch his brother die, or he accidentally killed his brother, if I had to guess.
You don't know already. I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys, on account of the fact that we were young and good-looking. I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years. They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two sumbitches. Jeb and I married a pair of sisters, even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion. I guess we got greedy, though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures. Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000, split 3 ways. That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head. Dead before he even hit the ground.
Yep, so he had to watch his brother die.
I didn't know who did it. So in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming so loud she scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again. Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to.
Ah, and Ernie is the one that killed Princess and made you a cult member.
I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story. I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. But he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards. Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
I was too sure of my own fate.
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom. We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective, even in a world of infinite possibilities. One would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations. But we are just as susceptible to being always right.
Well, I think we should have used always right on Meddy. So the next time we see Meddy, we gotta definitely bring around always right.
Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right. I have the experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
I mean, that's always right there.
Okay, Boomer.
Just casually dropping the okay, Boomer. All right.
Excuse me?
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right. The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
So when someone says not always right but never wrong, would that count? I think it does. I think it does in this instance.
You are always right about that. Well done, Samuel. With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter.
Yeah, I think that's always right.
Hold on, you can't know that layoffs are going to happen after the next financial quarter.
No, I guess not.
I did not say that I was certain, just that I had earned confidence in my prediction. Modern stock markets are run by a cabal of dark cultists, and one can make educated predictions about their behavior.
Ah, so we learned something about the stock markets. They're all being run by dark cultists in this universe. Okay.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, they sacrifice all to the dark god of ever-increasing profit. You should know this, Samuel. Their dark gospel reigns supreme in your land.
Ah, yes, eternal capitalism. Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. I guess I never thought as institutional investment bankers as dark cultists, but you're right. That's exactly what they are.
Mm-hmm.
If only they had chosen a more ethical god than unrestrained capitalism. I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
I mean, we're going to click it again because now I want to see what he says about this, but...
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in life, but we ain't always resentful.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
But we will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around. Let us continue. I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age. I do not need your perspective.
Well, yeah, that's always right. We're telling you we don't need... Yeah, that's always right.
And now hold on, you ain't always right. You thinking we're gonna turn into misanthropes is limiting you from making new vampires, but that's just your thinking.
Very good, my dear Samuel. Caution is warranted when bringing a new soul into the dark, but I must consider perspectives other than my own. I have not had much good fortune with my children of darkness, but I am indeed not the only judge of character.
You got kids, Andy?
I had many dark children before I recognized the gravity inherent in doing so.
Oh, so Andy has sired quite a number of vampires. All right.
I only wish more of my brethren could learn what a responsibility it is to begin the unlife of another. I know the internet is a passing fad. I have seen technology come and go, so I can trust my own expertise.
I mean, again, we're going to click it because I want to see what he says here, but...
I think you're doing a little always right there, Andy. A lot of folks had unwavering confidence that the fax machine was going to stick around forever, but they weren't right neither.
Truly? I still use my fax machine. It is the preferred mode of communication among vampires here in Germany.
Interesting. So there's just fax machines in Germany that are apparently hosting a secret network of vampires. Okay.
Heck, I guess that just proves no one is always right about technology. I think I get it, boss. If I had found folks to listen to other than myself, maybe I wouldn't have joined up with Ernie's gang.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You had plenty of reasons for making the choices you made. Reflecting on them is what helps us to grow.
Yeah, I'm a lucky fella all in all. I did some stuff with those vampires that I was pretty sure erased any humanity I had left, but I was wrong. Them transcendentalists I hold up with were ready to help me no matter how nasty I was. And I know I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything.
Fun fact, the fax machine was invented in 1843. That is a fun fact. That is older than I suspected. Neat.
I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything. Is that so, Samuel? Can you point out your own distortion there?
Let me see. I've done a lot of thinking of my own, but I owe them everything. I think that's disqualifying the positive.
It's my old favorite sneaking up on me, disqualifying the positive. I did plenty of work on myself.
That's right, Samuel. And why were the transcendentalists able to help you? We just went over it tonight.
I wasn't always right.
I realized I wasn't always right. I was ready to start receiving help.
Excellent, Samuel. Your capacity for self-reflection, and so quickly, is truly inspiring. I almost feel as though my blood is circulating on its own.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just a fella.
You have earned a reprieve from disqualifying the positive, my friend. Embrace it. I believe we have had a productive session today. Let us not press matters. This is difficult work, and you are handling it wonderfully. How do you feel?
You know, I feel okay. Somehow it's better than feeling good. What happened is what happened. Some bad stuff happened to me, and I did some bad stuff. And none of it lasts forever. That's the nice thing about having all the time in the world.
Your trials have made you wise indeed, my dear Samuel. Now rest, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you a good night.
Yeah, I believe it's early coffin time for me tonight. Have a good night, Andy.
You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace.
Very cool. Very cool session there. Also, we now have more distortions, but, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Samuel, greetings. You look a bit pale. May I offer you something to drink?
All right. And with that, that is where we will call today's session to a close, because I don't think we've got enough time for me to do Dr. Drain today. So that does mean we will be resuming Dr. Drain next time. But yeah, that was it was actually a very, very tame session when it came to Meddy. I was expecting a hell of a lot more, you know, sentences out of her, but we've, your time is drained. Well done, Gray Matter, 5 points. You know, again, you know, I'm very interested to see how Meddy develops. I'm very interested to learn more about Sam, and I think that's a good thing. But for now, YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.